Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections for Tuesday, the 28th of March. Well, a cracking day today. So let me try and remember the winners. The first one won at well, if you took the price, won at 4-1. Hiromichi did exactly what I said it would go into, which they don't normally, to be honest. Prominent throughout, kicked on, never really looked like getting caught, but won fairly comfortably. The second horse travelled very well. I actually thought it would be prominent, but it wasn't. It travelled very powerfully towards the rear. And then, unfortunately, it just lugged in slightly behind when it went for the run. And another horse got the first run on it, but it came second at 13-2. That was raw debut. The third horse, well, it's a good job we didn't take it the early prize because it was 3-1. I think it returned nines in the end. Was it Rose Bandita? So that one at 9-1, and then finally, I must say I was fuming all the way around. I don't know if you actually watched the race. The jockey gave it an absolute stinker. Don't get me wrong, it got fourth, but it was so wide. It was literally in the car park all the way round, and I was getting ready for like saying, "Oh, what a disappointing day," because he gave it a bad ride. Well, luckily we got fourth place, but it's only because there were only 8 runners, so it's like there was a few non-runners. So luckily they still paid out on the first 4, but it was disappointing because I was like, I wasn't fuming, but I was annoyed in running because I thought I know what's going to happen here. He's going to kick round the bend, well, kick just before the bend, run even wider, and then it's going to fade away and probably come 7th or 8th. But it didn't, to be fair. So it could be a horse that's ready for winning, but it did actually give it a bad ride. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, sorry, that was £7 staked, and I do believe £49 returned. If you've got anything different, let me know. I may have looked at it wrong, but these are the bets for Tuesday. Well, they aren't strong fancies. They are kind of like maybe they could improve and a bit of luck on our side. See what happens. If all 3 come place, we're in for a very nice day. So I've gone for a 25 pence each way patent. I've gone for 50p each way singles, and a 25p each way treble just to make up to £7. So let me get into it. So the first selection is how much. I've taken the price at 33-1 in the 345 at Hexham, paying 4 places instead of 3. Well, it's shown glimpses of okay form, but it's still got to slightly improve on what it's done so far. Once again, I've gone for the angle of, I think it's got first time cheap pieces. Well, one of the relatives, I think it's not a full brother, sorry, a half brother, shown quite a lot of progress every time. It was pretty much applied with either blinkers or cheek pieces. I think also a visor, although none of the others that I can remember actually had any headgear. So it was only that one horse out of its so-called brothers and sisters that actually responded well to headgear. Well, as I said, at 30, I am clutching at straws a little bit, but at 33-1, and in a shocking race, I think it might be it might have half a chance. But it'll be very nice if it gets in the first 4. Obviously, even better if it wins. So that's the first selection. The second selection is Wolf of King Street. I've left the price in the 5 o'clock at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. It's not done a great deal. It's not badly handicapped, but it's not well handicapped either. It's got to improve. It's got to improve to finish in the placings, but it's switched stable. So that could be the angle that we're coming at. It's originally it left Tom Dascombe to go to Hugo Palmer. That's when basically all the horses left Tom Dascombe and went to Hugo Palmer. Then it had 3 runs for Hugo Palmer, and then it's gone to, I think it was David or Mark Loughnane. So the interesting thing is, they haven't actually sold it, they just moved stables. So that's an interesting thing about it. So it's got a low draw, so if they're actually interested in it at least either placing or winning, it's got a lot of ticks or a lot of things in its favour. So I do think it's roughly about 8-1, I think it is. I've left the price. If I'm being honest, it could go either way, obviously. The third selection is Gonzaga. I've left the price in the 5:30 at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse is running well, although it's run loads of times without actually winning. But it does seem as though it's like really ready for like a bit of luck, and I think this could be its first win. Bearing in mind, I've left the price; it's roughly 8 to 1 now. I think if the connections fancy, it could be a lot shorter. But in general, it's not been showing a great deal, so it could quite easily drift from 8 to 1 a lot bigger. So I've left the price again once again, apart from the how much where I took the 33s, but they aren't confident selections. They are maybe selections where if the first one wins, it obviously it pays for the day. If the first one places, it's not quite money back. So it's a bet for Tuesday. That's what it is basically. It's not just for the sake of it. I do like the look of them, or I like the angles, but it's not a very confident bet. So anyway, you can give this video a like, or give the channel a subscribe, or share the video, share it on Twitter, or whatever you want to do with it. That's fine, because the channel seems to really slow down now. I seem to be getting like less views than I used to get just over a year ago. That when the channel first came out. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe maybe YouTube are like suppressing views. I don't know. Maybe I've commented on another video somewhere that YouTube didn't like and they're suppressing the channel. I don't know. So if you could do me a favour, give me a like or even a subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.